Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to In Between the Tees live Friday. Today's guest is the one and only, the infamous, in the red corner, Alexander Suave Olave.
What's going on?
My guy.
Thank you, my
Thank
brother.
you for coming in today, bro.
Thank you so much, man, bro.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Come on, man. Give me a proper dab. What you doing over here? Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
Thanks for having me on today,
Absolutely, brother. I appreciate your time. I know you're always jet setting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty sure you came off the tarmac right now or something like that, huh?
Something like that. For sure.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, today is going to be a day about you, my friend.
Sure.
Today on In Between the Tees, we're always talking about real estate. We try to get into capital, but you're Mr. Capital.
Yeah,
You might as well be in fucking Washington, D.C.
Sure.
Right?
Absolutely.
If they just need to go ahead and create Alex
Just put my name
Suave,
put my name on the $100 bill. That's all I'm saying.
That's what you want? You don't want a moment? You don't want a big-ass obelisk? You don't want a statue?
You know, I'll chill on the obelisk, just put my name on the Benjamin, and we're good, man.
That's it?
That's it, man.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. I respect that, man. Yeah. I truly do. And I know that we've kind of crossed paths. You've been in the office before. So this is a long time coming, I would say.
Sure.
And really, like, what I would really want to dive into you on a few things, essentially capital, of course, you know, talking how people can access capital, how you're able to go ahead and provide capital and, you know, maybe even help them get into commodities.
Sure.
Right? So we're going to get into that. But I think for the people that don't know who you are, let's spotlight you, man.
Dude, absolutely, man. First and foremost, again, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, where to even start? Alexander Olave. I am a private equity executive, professional fighter by trade, 15 years, which is how I got involved in this space. So I'm sitting in Thailand. The story's often like, hey, dude, like, how'd you get involved in this? Like, tell me your story. What's the background? And to be honest, man, I'm sitting in Thailand around, like, I'm on a mountain overlooking the ocean, gorgeous blue water. And I'm overhearing these guys just like sipping coconuts, clicking fucking buttons. Like, dude, oh yeah, man, we just did 500K this quarter.
So you're training and you're hearing these guys.
Yeah, because professional fighters don't know dick about making money.
Sure.
They don't, like, professional athletes in general. You know how many NFL players I talk to, NBA players, they just don't know what to do with their capital. See, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, 500, that's a lot of money for me at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I go up to him and I'm like, hey, man, you know, can you tell me what you do? Oh, I've got a digital agency. A digital agency, what's that? And,
yeah.
you know, we depart, right? And I go down the rabbit hole. It's like anything. You get inspired and you look at something, you go down the fucking rabbit. And, I learned this thing about a digital agency. Well, turns out I open my own digital agency, end up selling it, and fast forward to today, you know, that was the catalyst that brought me to private equity. So there's a lot in there.
That was the first step. You being aware of your surroundings and knowing that you wanted more kind of led you to go ahead and like aspire for more.
Sure, man. Sure. That's like the condensed version. We can get into that. We can get into the long of it, man. So if we want to get into the minutia, right? So I learn about digital agency. I come back to America from Thailand because my someone calls me and says, "Hey, do you want to buy a gym?" This was my first segue into mergers and acquisitions. Yeah. Do you want to buy a gym? Yeah, I would love to buy a gym. Professional fighter, like, of course, I would love to buy a gym. Go in, buy the gym, seller finance. It was the only 10K I had at the time, but 10K down, all the assets, the building, everything. Turns out you could be a great professional fighter, shitty business owner. Didn't know sales, marketing, persuasion, influence, nothing.
Yep.
We closed the doors for good. And I ended up being homeless, moving to the desert in Mexico.
How quickly was that?
3 months.
From inception to that?
3 months from inception to there. Didn't know sales, marketing, persuasion, influence. No money in the bank. Didn't know how to access capital. Didn't know any of this shit. And 3 months later, I closed up the doors for good.
Okay.
Pack up, go live in a tent in the desert heat in New Mexico.
Okay.
And I do that for about 8 months.
Okay.
I do that for about 8 months till something reaches out and slaps the shit out of me. It says, go to the library and learn everything on sales, marketing, persuasion, and influence.
So that became your new tent at the library.
It did, and I could eat out of the trash cans. Crazy story, right? I like try and block it out of my subconscious mind, but that's why they're always like, "Hey, are you Alex or Alexander?" I said, "Call me Alexander because Alex is the broke version. Because identity is everything." Right?
Truly,
yeah,
truly.
Truly, identity is everything, and I can't resonate, or I don't resonate with that motherfucker Alex because his standards were so low that he sunk in his self-pity and allowed himself to sit in a tent for 8 months versus being a goddamn man and doing something about it.
I feel that. I think all of us have that choice or that fork in the road. You either become that person of lesser, or you become the person that you have full capacity to be.
Dude, 100%, 100%. So I get back from Thailand, buy the gym, get into the gym, lose the gym, move in this desert. Now I'm in the library, study everything that I can on sales, marketing, persuasion, influence, Jordan Belfort, everything that you can imagine. Start my first digital agency. Well, turns out, starting a digital agency is very profitable. And then just a couple short years later, we make a couple 7-8 figures, exit the business.
Okay.
During this time exiting the business, it was like, what's next? What's the next level? And for me, it was like, let's go to these private equity guys and see what the hell they're doing and how we can get involved. And again, fast forward to where we are today. The rest is history.
Okay.
The rest is history.
So I just want to make sure that we're time stamping this correctly, because what's unique, you tell me about Thailand. Mm-hmm. My buddy who I grew up with, Daniel Rodriguez, he's in the UFC. He found himself in a spot where he's not fought for like 6 or 7 months. Guess where he's at? He's in Thailand right now, fighting, preparing for his next fight. And this is all coming full circle. So you were there, you heard something, you introduced yourself to knowledge, and then you I don't say failed, you learned and took a lesson.
Dude, it's so like, okay, so I call it puzzle pieces of destiny.
Yep.
Now what I mean by that is there's these puzzle pieces that life throw you. You don't understand what they are at the time until you start to piece together the puzzle. And all of a sudden this picture becomes crystal clear and you know the direction that you're going. The vision's coming forward. And I always say that these puzzle pieces of destiny, these are our karmic cycles that we go through and experience until we learn our lesson. And then the next puzzle pieces are given until
it's revealed.
We have to build the next puzzle.
Yeah,
that's right.
I think I can relate to that given right now. I've always had a mastermind plan of 3 things: owning my own airline company, cruise company, and production company. And then the newest one that came to me is a nonprofit foundation. They've always been puzzles, but now it's more of I'm able to execute on them.
Yeah.
And it's
what's that timeline for you? I'm just curious. Okay, cool. Want to own an airline, and I just want to see that.
That's an interesting one, huh?
What is the timeline on this? Because it's not like I hear you, and I'm like, dude, I got to play here. What do we got? Yeah.
So the idea for Turn Up Air, that's what it's gonna be called. Is I like
a picture like Snoop Dogg. What was that movie with Snoop Dogg?
Snowplane. Yeah. A lot of the initial thought became from that movie, right?
Yeah.
Some of what was in that movie should be incorporated in flights, right? In some way. So the timeline for that, I'd like to get something charter something small within the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Turn Up Air that way.
Dude, what if though? What if rather than having to build it from scratch, you could go do that in the next 24 months by just going in and acquiring it? Now, hear me out. Hear me out. It's a lot easier to acquire something that's 100 million, 500 million. You know this, right? Than something that's a startup, because there's actual hard assets attached. So, like in this case, Warren Buffett, he owns like 500 fucking jets, but he just owns a piece of the jet company.
Can you explain to the people out there why that is easy? Because we know. You need to give them gems.
Yes, I absolutely can. $100 million company, most likely it's public. Okay, so like I'm not going to use my own cash to buy that deal.
Right.
Absolutely crazy. I'm going to now see what hard assets that business has attached to it, what kind of collateral, aka the public shares. I'm going to borrow against the public shares, just like Elon did to buy fucking Twitter.
Yep.
He did a hostile takeover, right? So at the end of the day, you want to figure out what collateral the assets have, borrow against the collateral to come up with the capital to be able to negotiate on your terms, right? Your price, my terms, your price. I don't give a fuck about the price.
Correct.
I want the terms, dude.
Let me ask you this. You ever watch that show Billions? Because this is exactly what they did in the last season.
Capital's my fucking spirit animal, man. Yeah. Bobby Axelrod's my fucking spirit animal.
Right?
For sure.
I haven't seen the last season, but that caught my just dealing with money.
Yeah.
And how he really goes after what he wants, unrelenting.
You've got to have that. See, this is the difference between millionaires and billionaires, right? And this is just hanging around different billionaires in my circle. When they think something, they take action immediately versus somebody who's in analysis paralysis and is this a good idea? It's like, let me go consult others. No, it's that instantaneous ability.
Do you think that's a natural trait that really is the differential, the execution or the action takers, like the basics? Do you think that's a common thing that when you talk to these guys?
Dude, yeah, 100%, because they either got it or they don't, and they didn't become a billionaire by just sitting on their ass and waiting for things to happen. No, they took action, and they were the one that led the charge, which is why they're at that ability of net worth. And if you look at their process of osmosis and everyone around them, they're the same way.
Yeah. They've attracted that same kind of executors.
Yeah.
You know, and you've done the same yourself. Going ahead and coming from that data analysis company, Execute, didn't know shit, right? You executed, went to that gym, executed, then the next platform. And then how did the EFC come into play? Like, were you always training for that?
So
were you always fighting when you were as a kid? Was that your thing?
You know, before coming into private equity, before because knowledge really is power.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Came from middle class family, father military, mother. We can get into that. We can get into the nitty gritty. But long story short, you grow up in the middle class. You don't realize that these things exist.
Right.
And so the typical status quo: go to the Matrix. The Matrix. All right, the fucking Matrix. Get the fuck out of here. All right?
Hey, this honey tastes excellent in the
By
Matrix.
the way, shout out to Jack Daniels. The honey whiskey is absolutely great.
In the Matrix.
In the Matrix. But yeah, man, it was the typical middle class. Go to college, get a good job, and I was just the black sheep, dude. I was just the fucking black sheep. I just knew there was more. I just knew there was more to life, you know. So
I feel that.
Yeah.
I don't say the sheep because we're fucking wolves.
Okay, there you go. There you go. We're fucking kings and we're fucking wolves. Yeah. I love it.
We're the leaders of the wolf pack.
Yeah.
They were the sheep. That's how I've seen it.
Very true.
You know, they follow the traditional path, and bravo to you and I for being brave enough, courageous enough, if I say, to go the other way.
For sure. You know, it's so weird that you say that, dude. I get real woo-woo with the laws of the universe, but I think of the I think of the law of gravity.
Yeah.
Which is like you're holding this bag on you. Like there's the mission. You want to fucking go up there to the moon, right? But you got all these things that are holding you back, and you can make the conscious decision to clip them if they no longer support the environment. Just fucking go, dude. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon. Shoot for the stars, land on the moon.
That's it. There's an analogy I heard about Johnny Appleseed. I mean, he had
interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
He because you just reminded me because of the sack. So he initially had a big ass sack of apples and apple seeds, and in all the stories you've seen him just with a hat. Well, where the fuck is how did he throw seeds out if he didn't have an apple sack? Well, he just came to a point in my interpretation of just, you know what, fuck it. Why am I picking and choosing where to put these seeds? He just
interesting. Yeah, just making it rain.
Just let's go.
Yeah.
And that's part of executing.
Sure.
Just like instead of thinking about placement all the time, let's just crush it.
Dude, speaking of which, can we get a little controversial here? I'm sorry, can we keep new money and old money? Let's talk about it because I just finished this last cap raise, $60 million, right?
Okay.
And I'm out here in Orange County, and I pick up my Rolodex of motherfuckers who claim to have money here in this area, okay? Apparently there's a lot of wealth in Orange County, but when you're raising capital and you present people with a good deal, you really find out who's about it and who's not. So then it really gives you that perspective of, okay, here's who I can count on, here's who I get. You vet out your Rolodex is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So it's like, if you had to, tomorrow, pick up the phone and find $2 million, could you do it? Could you be fucking resourceful enough to pick up the goddamn phone and start dialing?
Is your girlfriend about to leave you? Does she think you're
You're
a fucking worthless
fucking
looking loser? I love it. Pick up that phone and start dialing.
That's right. That's right.
Are you homeless and you're about to lose your cell phone bill?
Dude. Good.
Pick up that phone and start dialing.
Pick up.
I literally can quote all that movie every day. So let me ask you this. Because you mentioned, can you pick up that phone and find $2 million? The first thought that many people do is, they think that big number instead of thinking about small increments.
Sure.
Or the second thing that comes before that is, I don't know anybody. They start thinking of objections and
limiting beliefs that hold them back from getting to where they need to go.
Yeah. And what's interesting to that is because right now I'm doing a chalk fundraiser event in April for children with autism, directly for the Children's Hospital of Orange County. We're doing a golf tournament. September, we raised $60,000 in funds. Now we're looking to do $250K. And like you said, who can you call for like a $20,000 sponsor? Well, I'm calling the big companies and saying, hey, listen, you can do it two ways. You can either just write that $25,000 check, or you go ahead and have us come in and we just execute. And this person, 50 people, just have to donate $500. Look how easy that is.
Sure. So
back to your Rolodex, like it's important to be creative, right? Because old money and new money. How, and what I'm seeing, and maybe you can correct me, is that old money, they're just like this.
Dude, okay, I can just share my experiences from you.
Yeah.
With you, if you will. New money. This is Alexander New Money. This is Alexander Old Money.
Yeah, let's go.
Alexander New Money. Let's fly every bitch to LA, stay in Palos Verde in the nice house, but also have a house in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
With a Ferrari and a Rolls Royce in the driveway. And just fly a new one in every weekend and go buy them purses. That's new money. Old money is like, this bitch ain't gonna do anything for me. What are you doing, dude? What are you doing, kid? Right? So that is the difference between new money and old money. You're able to recognize, you're able to see who's balling out obsessively, and you can clearly tell, like, these motherfuckers, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. Yeah. It's not what you make, it's what you keep. And that's really the hard lesson. It's not until you lose it all, and then you have to earn it back and recreate that character. Because I think Meek Mill says it best, right? It's respect the game. When you're back at the bottom, they go treat you like you're worthless. Respect the game. Great song by Meek Mill, and it's so true. And I had to go through this identity shift of making a bank, making a bag, losing it all, and what is my value that I provide to the world? It's really fucked up. It was really fucked up. What value do I provide to the world? I'm like, I thought I needed capital to prove my worth. So like it's almost good in a sense though, because you go through these shifts in life that teach you who you are as a person, and you kind of shed these old beliefs and these old identities that you thought you were, and to become the man that you are today. So new money, old money, it's a transition that I think it happens with all people who are wealthy in all walks of life.
Correct.
Right, you're gonna have to go through that transition because if you're not ready for it mentally, it doesn't matter. You could be given a fucking $1 billion, you're gonna run through it and blow through it because you don't have the mental maturity.
We see that with lottery winners. We see that with trust.
It's so kids. True, dude. It's so, and I'm just saying it from someone who grew up middle class and had $10 million sitting in front of him and blew through that shit like it was candy. You get what I'm like it was candy, stripper or pull apart. Like, I don't want to incriminate myself here on camera, but like. Yeah, like that. Hey, but it was just reckless, you know. So there's
I will level with you. Yeah, like I said earlier off camera, coming out of my black hole, I thought it was untouchable. I thought, like you said, new money. Just let's fucking go, right? Like, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. But what I realized coming out of it now is that yes, I'm learning more. I'm actually more prepared for what's coming. I wasn't just going down a spiral. Just fucking, hey, we're going to go golf here. We're going to go Colombia. We're going to do this. And so that's part of the lesson, I think.
Sure.
New money and old money.
It is.
And one thing that I do love, and I've always kind of, in our small dealings together, is that your energy, bro. Your energy is fucking always here. Is that because of the constant inspiration that you've always had, or is that something that you've found because of what's happening now? Like, break that down for me.
There's a saying that's a good question, by the way. There's a saying that comes to mind: if you don't got it, borrow it from a future version of yourself. So if you don't have the certainty, if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the conviction, the future version of yourself has everything that you want right now. So if it's true then, why can't it be true now? So it's constantly borrowing from these future selves of identity, if you will, and then pulling it to the present to make it, in fact, true.
I like to consider that alter egos.
Dude, you've got to, man. I tell my team when they're raising capital, I'm like, create a character on these phones, because if you embody your prospects' limiting beliefs, it's going to fuck you up.
You become that prospect.
You become that prospect, and I've seen this happen where we've had people in our process, and they're all gung-ho about it, and they get on with people, oh, I don't have money, and then they embody the belief, wait a second, these prospects don't have money, and then it fucking influences the culture like a plague. And you understand that you have to cut those people very fast, right? Fire fast. And it's just fucked up. These beliefs can really, 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 really hold you back from getting to where you need to go, and you don't even know you got them. Maybe mom, brother, sister, uncle, someone programmed that shit in you. You got to get that foo-foo shit away, man. Seriously.
Don't allow that to fester.
It's holding.
It's almost like cancer. You cannot allow that to fester. The moment that it's identified is the moment that it needs to be diagnosed and disattached.
What are some limiting beliefs that you've had to shed? Let's say even within the last, if you're cool with being vulnerable, of
course,
within the last year that that you've noticed have really helped you level up.
Limiting beliefs that repeat the question one more time.
Yeah. What are some beliefs that you've reshaped, and restructured to kind of shape this version of you today?
Some limiting beliefs is that I don't have the resources. That was one. 2, I don't have the contacts. 3, I don't have the capital. And that's kind of everybody's thing in some way, small way. And how I've able to do it is just by, we had another guest come on and he was talking about if you have clarity and you have leverage and you have sight, you don't have to see the end of the tunnel. You just have to walk by faith.
Yeah.
You just have to walk and believe and be so uncompromising. And I'll tell you, you want me to be vulnerable? My wife, she told me, when I started doing podcasts, she says, "What are you doing podcasts for? Like, that doesn't bring in money." I'm like, "No, trust me. This is going to go ahead and change things." My unwavering belief. And she's like, "I don't know." I'm like, "Well, listen, I don't need that on my side. What I need is someone to be riding with me."
Cheerleader.
Because right now, if you're not with me, I will go live in my car. I'm sorry. I'll pay you whatever I can. I'll be broke as friend because this is where I'm at. This is how strongly I believe this is the way to go. And I never had told her anything like this before.
Wow. You just really stood in your masculine energy at that point, and she respected it.
She did. It took her 2 weeks to settle in.
Yeah.
Took her 2 weeks to settle in. But after she started seeing the podcast and watching them, and even today when she watches this, she'll be like, "I see where you're going with this." You know, because I've always talked about this. I'm pretty sure like we're talking about versions of ourselves. Even you, like going from where you came from, there was always some kind of thing in your head somewhere of like, I need to be Suave.
Yeah,
I need to be here. It just wasn't clear.
Right.
Yeah. But look at you living in that the moment, brother.
Sure.
Being in the present moment. Like, what were your main beliefs?
Oh, dude. First book I ever read that helped me change my mindset, right? Dean Graziosi, Millionaire Success Habits. And I remember after reading that book, I took everything and I drew up on a piece of paper, and it was like I drew it down the middle, and it was like in the next 30 days, things that I must eliminate. In the next 30 days, things that I must attract. And I wrote down a bunch of different things that I must attract, right? I'm going to generate $1 million a month. I am generating $1 million a month, $1 million cash collected. And I kid you fucking not, bro. Like, down the rabbit hole, 3 months, 4 months into it. All those fucking affirmations.
Check.
100%. But to answer your question, what are the limiting beliefs that I had to eliminate? That I couldn't make $100,000 on a phone call. That I couldn't call someone up and pitch them because I didn't know how to. You got to go find the information. You got to be resourceful because Tony Robbins said it best. It's never about the resources. It's about the resourcefulness.
That's it. Yeah. How willing you able to put yourself out there to do it.
Dude, I'm so, like, you can't go. A lot of people look at stress like it's a bad thing. Like, oh, stress is terrible. Oh, I'm so stressed. Motherfucker, you should be stressed. You're a man in today's society. How easy is it to be great as a man? Do we have to go onto a white horse with our dueling sword and raise an army and go conquer a kingdom? No, we got a fucking cell phone in our hand that gives us all of the information from the East and the West.
Yeah.
It's never been easier.
You know what? Perfect example is you can pull one of these out, right? You can pull one of these out and sit with a gentleman like yourself and talk money. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's never been that easier, to your point. Oh, I think this is that reserve from the Dominica. From the DR, guys. From the DR, and it's gold.
Yeah.
Reyes. Okay? But to your point, what I was making is that there's been so many business contacts I'm pretty sure you've had too over a glass and a cigar and a
100%.
pen or a DocuSign. So to your point, like, yeah, man, we're not in fucking caveman days or the Crusades where we need to go ahead and literally take over the world, but we are taking over the world. And pressure does what?
Makes diamonds, baby.
we're gems.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes people don't have awareness of that they are a diamond, and two, that they're not willing to go ahead and refine it, polish it, and let it shine bright. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Very cool.
Fucking just dropping mad knowledge.
Dude, where could we go with this? There's so many places we can go with this. I mean, I guess, okay, I bring you a suitcase full of $2 million. I don't know if I said this in the big conference room over there when we were raising capital. I hand you a suitcase filled with $1 million, and I put a gun to your head, and I say, hey, Tony, hey, you got 24 hours to double my money. What are you going to do? You probably know the answer now, but maybe the past version of Tony, because you're in private money. But what do you do?
That person would have probably hit up all the OGs in the block, because those are the only people I would have known had money.
What about now? What about the Tony? What about the Tony now?
Now, I basically go to my phone book of my top 5 guys. This is what we need to do, fellas. I give them a plan. This is the structure. We're buying in, and I'm part of it. And usually, when I say it like that, they're like, "Okay, you're a piece of it. Great. So you have something to risk on top of it. Great."
Yeah. I love that answer.
You can't possibly present something and then like, okay, what are you putting in it? Nothing. What the fuck?
There has to be skin in the game.
Yeah.
No, but it's so, dude, that's so key, because every time I ask this question, it depends on who I'm asking the question to, right? And you can always gauge their level of understanding on the way that economics work. Because it's like, okay, if I need to double $2 million in the next 24 hours, what would be the fastest way to do it? I got to have liquid cash. I'm going to go slam that suitcase on somebody's desk, say, look, motherfucker, here's $2 million in collateral. What can you do for me?
Yeah.
But not the consumer banks. They don't got the shit. They don't have the cash in their vaults. Who do you think they're coming to fill their vaults?
Private.
They're coming to us to fill their vaults. But that's why they're giving us the best leverage.
Absolutely. And if you think back in history, right, when we moved away from the gold standard.
Don't get me started.
Who did they... You talked about this, but I don't think we got into this much. Who did they go to? They went to the capital guys. They went to the JP Morgans. They went to the banks in Germany. They went to the top guys. They went to the Rockefellers. They went to all these guys and said, hey, we're moving away. What can you do for me? They took loans from these guys, right? Am I off?
No, you're right. Yeah.
So why should it be any different from like the 1920s and shit to now, right? They found the way to do it. Now it's just how do we keep perfecting it?
100, and it's quite interesting because you got BRICS Nation coming in, and they've reinitiated the gold standard, if you will.
Absolutely.
They've brought back the gold standard. So now you got the Federal Reserve Bank going, oh, fuck, wait a second. We need to move away from fiat currency. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, all right, the Fed's cutting rates this fucking year, which means what? That means debt's going to become increasingly cheaper, which means the asset prices are going to go up. But these are how the big boys are playing the game. They're framing it for you. It's fun to watch, isn't it?
It does. It's cyclical. So if we think back to 2018, debt was cheap. All stock and equities prices were at the highest they were, and people were making money. So why wouldn't they want to go back to that? Guys, think about it. Why wouldn't they want to go back to that? You think that fucking the U.S. economy is enjoying hurting?
Here's the crazy. See, what's great for the U.S. economy is that our good friends Putin and our good friends China, right? Russia and China, they're in bed together, which is great for us as America because where's Europe going to go for their, I don't know, their oil and gas? To pave roads, to make tires, to make the microchips for the electric cars. People don't understand how many byproducts come from oil and gas.
Absolutely.
Right? So
everything.
Now, Europe's got to go to America and Canada to get this shit. So what does it do, right? What does it do for us now? This is where the catch-22 is, right? You got hyperinflation coming because there's all these countries that no longer want to use the American dollar because of BRICS Nation.
Oil, yeah.
Well, not only that, because of BRICS Nation, so you got the petrodollar, which used to be traded in the USD, which is now being traded in the
yen.
Chinese yen. Yeah. right? So there's this, I was talking about this today with a couple of investors. $4 million that we closed at a coffee date. How great is that? $4 million coffee. What's your ROI on your cup of coffee? What's the ROI on your cup of coffee? But I was talking about this today, and like there's all these geopolitical implications of BRICS coming into the area, right?
Definitely.
And so like Iran, Iraq, it's punishable by imprisonment to use the American dollar.
Yep.
So what happens when all this money comes back to American shores? It becomes worthless. So this becomes Venezuela. So right now you're seeing the big boys do their little move to prop up the market. But guys, you only got this much fucking time to get into assets. You better talk to your guy Tony to come into some kind of fucking real estate deal, or talk to Suave Olave to get the fuck out of here and get into some kind of commodities. That's all I'm saying.
I think we could cover both sides of it. Commodities. I know you were mentioning multifamily.
Yeah.
And that's how long ago did you realize we should do that? Getting into multi.
It was, I would say Q2. It was tattooed on my fucking forehead because all these big, it's just the signs are everywhere. You got fucking BlackRock going in and buying up all the single family homes and
Easily.
And it's just like, man, there's just so much opportunity in the market because shit's on sale for pennies on the dollar. So we knew where it was going. We knew the market's going to be artificially propped up this year, and then it's going to fall again. And that's when we're just going to, like, it's never a bad time to buy.
Never.
I'll say that. It's never a bad time to buy. So for us, we're going crazy on.
You hear that, guys? It's never a wrong time to buy. So the real thing is that are you in position to buy? That's what it is.
That's right. And then also make sure you got the right exit strategy, because if you don't, you're fucked. You go in the wrong cycles. Like, dude, you're going to fuck yourself. But just understand this is why having a mentor is so important, because if you don't know what you're getting into, dude, you're going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Right? But so that's why leveraging debt to be able to, let's talk about that really quick, because a lot of people want to leverage their own liquid capital. What's the benefit of leveraging my own liquid capital versus, I don't know, leveraging tax-free money? I don't know. Let's dive into that.
It's actually on par, because I had a conversation with Max out of Hawaii, and he was like, "Hey man, like I'm looking for private equity because I'm doing projects on the island and the Big Island, and he's all about it." He's like, "Yeah, I have 30 projects that I'm using my own money." I'm like, "Well, why is that?"
Oof, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
I'm like, why is that? Like, if we gave you capital, what would you do with it? He's like, "Well, I would be able to secure more land. I would go ahead and be able to execute on properties quicker, and turn it over, and next one." I'm like, perfect. Let's talk more. So I have this conversation about that all the time.
Yeah.
Great. You've been successful executing with your own money. What's stopping you from taking the next step?
The one person that I think of that comes to mind is Robert Kiyosaki. How is Robert Kiyosaki? He's a billionaire in debt. You see him talk about this shit everywhere.
Every day, yeah.
Everywhere. And so, like, all he's doing is acquiring the property using debt. All right, I'm trying to give him his, trying to mimic Robert Kiyosaki, but using debt, right? And buy the property, collateralize the property to come up with more debt, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. This dude's sitting on like 9 Bs in AUM in debt. Like, that's the key. Why would you use your own capital when you're taxed on it? Why don't billionaires pay taxes? Because they're not using their own money.
Dude, and people
They're
are
not using their own fucking money. That's why they don't pay taxes. Don't get pissed off. Get the fuck out of here.
people don't understand it. People don't understand it. Like, whoa, why doesn't Bill Gates pay tax? Because he's found loopholes in the tax code that allow him to do that. And it's all there for everybody to see. It's just, are you going to go ahead and be aware? Are you going to go ahead and read and put the effort? Right?
Don't hate the player.
Hate the game.
Hey. Love it.
One thing I did want to, you just reminded me, Robert Kiyosaki, right? So early in the game when I started getting in this industry, that was one of the books I read too, right? And one thing he talked about was how that guy in Hawaii, right? How he owned land and then sold that land to the fucking hotels and became just. And during that time, the one thing that I took away with this, I'm paraphrasing, was that this guy was in a lot of pain. Like he owned this land. He had firm belief that this was going to be worth something. And it wasn't until X time that actually came to fruition. And this guy became super wealthy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because he stood on business, was firm in his fucking beliefs, And 3, he kind of manifested it. And it was debt.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the age-old principle. Use debt to acquire cash flow and you'll never go broke a day in your life.
Yeah.
You'll never go. That's why I love multifamily. That's why I love multifamily, because you got cash flow attached. So, okay, cool. You use debt to buy the property.
And Uncle G talks about this all the time.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone, what's his?
Hey, Uncle G. Uncle G, yo, shout out to Uncle G, my man. Yo, let's do a deal, though. Seriously, Grant Cardone, you're watching this. You need me, Grant. You fucking need me, and I'll tell you why. Just give me a ring.
That's it. We'll make sure that we send this to his people. And I think I have... Actually, my buddy Danny right here actually used to work for him.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Anyone needs what we have, dude. Any billionaire, any decamillionaire, leverage. Leverage.
What was the thing that in Wolf of Wall Street he said when he was sitting behind his desk? He's like, this thing will eviscerate your enemies. What was that he said?
I forget.
It was he showed the picture of the dollar, the $100.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about the substance. He was talking about that leverage in the dollar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Big time.
Fucking nuts, bro. So multifamily has been a focus for you. You're executing in what states?
Everywhere, dude. But most likely, Georgia's a great spot right now. New York. I don't have anything in California. It's just a slippery slope for me right now. But
Cash flow's not there, or is it?
not necessarily the cash flow. I think it's not only the tax situation. I think it's just the opportunities we're coming across are a little bit more lucrative in other states than they are, let's say, in California. Our bang on our buck goes a little bit further over there. So I think it's more preference and bias than it is matter factually, if you will. So preference and bias. Texas we're seeing is a good one too.
I know I had a deal presented to me. It was it was a small one. It was 13 units in Oklahoma, right side of the closer to the Ozarks. And these guys bought this property for roughly $640,000, 13 units, and they were able to rehab it, fix it up, got it to 1.7 mil ARV. Right, in 3 weeks of completion, 100% occupancy.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's fucking unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're looking to keep doing that in Oklahoma. And what I found was a challenge is that most hard money guys, not private equity guys, hard money guys are like, oh, that's a rural market. Well, let's think beyond the traditional sense of rural, because it's a vacation area, and that's an area where you can go ahead and have project after project after project and become now a higher percentage of metro, right? Like Nashville, Tennessee, that was a small market. Now it's getting big.
Nashville is, if you guys haven't been out to Nashville recently, they're calling it Nash Vegas.
Is it?
Nash Vegas. Well, it's the #1 place in the United States for bachelorette parties. If that tells you anything. If that tells you anything. So it's really expanding. It's really. I was just out there, I'm gonna say, within the last couple months, and it's like, you ever been to Colombia?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how like the trucks ride by, people are dancing on the truck. It's like Colombia and Nashville. You got the white girls dancing on the truck. And it's fucking 9 a.m. It's not even breakfast yet, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what's going on here?
I just fucking woke up.
But Nashville is booming. Nashville is a booming.
Yeah, and then Franklin is a subdivision of that's starting to blow up. Because guess what? Investors are seeing these markets as they appreciate. They're getting oversaturated, so they're looking for other places to park their money.
Dude, so here's why places like eMortgage Capital and Acquire Capital are a great place to invest your money. Because you as a traditional investor, you don't have access to the trade desk that we do. Let's call it what it is. You don't have access to the trade desk or the financial instruments that we have to be able to go get leverage on that capital and stimulate it to be able to generate better returns.
Yeah.
It's a fairly simple principle. We've got the resources. We've got the trade desk.
Yep.
Your capital's better with us than you trying to figure out where the fuck to put it in the first place.
It's about what our network is. And that's one thing that I say with all my clients' interactions. It's like, bro, this is a relationship. that I'm going to overlap my resources with yours.
Strategic partnership more than anything.
Synergy.
Yes, 100%.
Synergy.
100%. See, I tell all of my investors, I don't want your capital. I want your strategic partnership, because you're going to come to me, you're going to give me deals, and guess what? We're going to be the bank and fund your projects, baby. Strategic partnership. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I can go raise capital and get leverage it I can go get leverage on that capital all day long.
Right.
I need places to put that cash flow that give me more cash flow to then be able to service the debt.
Build the blocks.
Build the fucking blocks.
Yeah.
Build the fucking.
All those bear bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yo, the honey jack's not bad, huh? You know what? Tabac. So I know these are Dominican. I got a nice Dominican here, right? But
We're gonna smoke these outside.
Beautiful. Yes. With another refill.
Yes.
But shout out to Drew Estates. If you've never had the Tabac from Drew Estates with a nice Jack Daniel's honey whiskey, the best pairing ever. I'm willing to bet on it. All right.
The sweet smoky taste.
It's the sweet smoky taste of the Tabac because it's a sweeter cigar, but then the honey of the Jack Daniel's honey whiskey on your lips. So it's just a sweet pairing. I've never had quite a pairing like that.
Might as well be Kenny G because it sounds like butter.
I love it, man. Yeah, dude. It's what a fun space, man. What a fun space to be able to just talk to people who are looking for the best leverage on their capital and realizing they don't know what they don't know what they don't know.
Correct.
They don't know what they don't know. I talked to these guys I was talking to today. Came in $4 million cup of coffee again.
How long was that? How long was that meeting, by the way?
It was an hour.
It was an hour meeting.
It was an hour.
Okay. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so I met...
High level.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I meet with this partner last week. We go to Bogarts and Seal Beach, right there on the beach.
Yeah.
And I tell him what we're doing as far as getting leverage. So for those of you who don't know, what we do is we do a simple cap raise. On our cap raise, we get about 35 to 1 leverage playing with the primary banks. So why does that matter? Because when you bring your money to the banks, what do?
Lend
And
it out.
they give the best leverage to?
People have it.
The people who fill their vaults. So they give us 35 to 1 leverage. We go get an instrument. That's what's giving us that leverage. An SBLC, a standby letter of credit. You could do this with collateralized debt obligations, various different instruments. For us, we
CDOs.
CDOs. That's right. Big Short. Watch that movie.
Yeah.
Right. So what we'll do is we'll raise capital. We'll go acquire that instrument. And we'll do two things. We'll either draw on that instrument at 35 to 1 for a line of credit and then go acquire assets with it. Or we'll go take that 35 to 1, buy bonds, securities, trade it, and cycle it 8 to 9 times a month.
Yeah. The traditional way.
So
in a sense.
Right. So again, we're using leverage to go. We're raising capital to go acquire leverage, acquire assets with those leverage, collateralize those assets to then become the bank.
Yeah,
it's fairly simple.
So, for anybody that might go over your head, it's that you need to go ahead and get capital. You need to have assets so that those two can be your foundation. Is that?
Yeah, dude, 100%, 100%. If you're taking anything from this and you're like, okay, cool. Depends on what stage of an investor you're at. If you're like, dude, I'm sitting on a couple mil liquid, I want the best leverage, go to your nearest private equity portfolio and ask them, dude, what does your trade desk look like? What do you have for me to give me the best leverage? Because right now, my CPA or my financial advisor is giving me 3 to 1 on this bullshit.
Yeah.
What does your savings account pay you? 0.05%?
Less than that, probably.
Right. So you have to get curious about asking the questions because, like, you said it best. Closed mouths don't get fed.
That's it.
Go to your banks, ask them how much leverage they're giving you, and if that doesn't, like, again, you can play the conservative Warren Buffett game, 6% a year. Why the fuck not? It's still good.
Yeah.
6% a year, let it compound, right? But again, like,
the question is, do you have Warren Buffett time?
That's the question. But see, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. And, you know, I'm always kicking my own ass. I'll tell you why. Because I'm like, fuck, I could get XYZ done. And then I think about Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, SpaceX, Tesla, and I'm like, this motherfucker's running 3.
Boring company. Yeah.
Why can't I do it?
Correct.
Why can't I do it? If Elon Musk has 20, what separates you from Elon Musk or me from Elon Musk?
The only real thing is basically trusted strategic partners.
Dude, the only thing that separates you from Elon Musk and me from Elon Musk, all right, because we've got the same mouth.
Yep.
We've got the same hands.
Yep.
We've got the same tissue in our brain, right? We got the same dick, all right? Let's just call it what it is, right? The same masculinity from the fucking Tesla.
It's still flesh, yeah.
It's the flesh. Okay, let's call it what it is. The only difference is he has the belief in himself to do
There it is.
It's belief.
I think we share that.
Of course we do. That's why we're fucking here. Like attracts like. That's why we're fucking here. See, when I tell people we'll sell our portfolio for $200 billion, they think I'm crazy. But if you don't know the math behind that, that's only $20 billion in assets under management at a 10x multiple. That's a financial technology play on a portfolio of real estate properties and a portfolio of gold and silver and oil and gas. How fucking simplistic is that?
Yeah. Let's dive into the simple things. If you're gonna give a 20-year-old, whether that's you or someone that comes to you and says, I see what you're doing, I don't understand what you're doing, what advice would you give them? 20 years old, maybe in college, they're smart, they're ambitious. All they need is a little bit of Suave.
Oh, fuck. What would I tell them? I would say, dude, talking to me is the gateway drug to private equity.
Okay.
So I'm going to give
talking to you. How would you allow them to attach themselves to the hip? Because we've heard many stories about people saying, like, for example, Ty Lopez, right? He talks about how he just worked for that guy that was a farmer, all that good stuff for free, and then built that. He always talks about that.
Here's what I would say. If you're 19 years old and you're serious about your shit and you will actually put in the fucking work, I've been waiting for you. All right? Get your ass over here because I will make you more money by the time you're 21 than you ever fucking thought possible. All right? But to answer your question, there's very few 19-year-olds out there ambitious enough and who will detach from their limiting beliefs that this actually is possible because you and I know what's possible.
Yeah. Okay. And if that person did, would you just immediately say, listen, you're going to work with me. You're not going to be paid? Or what would that look like?
You know what? That's a great question. I just finished reading Brandon Dawson's 9-Figure Mindset.
Okay.
And he talks about PPF and aligning the culture of the company and how a business is not just for the owner to make money. It's a financial tool and vehicle to help your staff members do the
Correct.
same.
You want them to go ahead and take your job in a way.
100%. And so it's all about aligning yourself with their personal, professional, and financial goals for them to feel understood. And if you can reverse engineer and help them hit that PPF,
yeah,
they're going to be so loyal to you because you just gave them a pathway that nobody else gave them.
Yeah.
Nobody else does that. Nobody teaches you to set standards and boundaries for yourself. So if you're able to find someone that's going to be able to put you on that path and align you with your future vision and show you a fucking way to get there, you're going to be loyal to that person.
100%. 100%. I'm loyal to my mentors to this day. One lives out of state, went to his wedding, you know. I'm sure you
Dude, let's talk about how did Tony become the, I mean, this isn't Tony Montana. As much as I want to say this is Tony Montana. How did Tony become Tony, dude? How did Tony
it's funny? This conversation did come up. So we talked about alter egos, right? There was always a belief that I can become the person that I want and think in my head, right? So really what it came out to be is in 2006, I was just getting out of high school, fucking figuring my way out. And I seen all my boys playing college football, and I played good ball. I played at a good level. I said, fuck it. I'm going to go walk on, prove my worth. I was a scrub the first year. Second year became respected. And I still talk to all my college football players. That was stage one. Belief that I can do and perform at the level that I can. I'm pretty sure you may feel the same way when you went into the UFC, EFC, right? That was stage one. And I came up with the alter ego, I turn up. That I can, it wasn't just like a party thing. It was more like I can turn up who I am. I can go ahead and embody this person. And that was the next thing. The second stage was in 2016 when I got into the financial industry. Just met some dude. Said his dad had a financial company. I entered from him. He's like, hey, son, like, I wish you were my son because you have all of the things that I want my son to be. And he's just partying at SC. And you're over here fucking grinding, taking really nothing. So I did that, worked at his company, got licensed, learned the way, built it up. That was stage 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Stage 3 came into the part where now I'm making fucking money. Now I'm like really going ahead and being the person I thought was the capacity. But what it is that the stage 4 was the most important one. Losing it all, okay? and still having that belief, that swag, that bravado, that Ike Turnup didn't go nowhere. Didn't go nowhere. But the problem is that I was focused on the MTV shit that we grew up on. I was focused on MTV Cribs.
So poisonous, by the way. That's so fucking poisonous.
That's that new money.
Dude, you realize when you have that shit how irrelevant it really is. Because you're sitting in this Beverly Hills mansion ready to off yourself because you're like, who can I count on? Everyone wants me for my money.
Yeah.
You know?
My time is occupied by time wasters.
And I feel like you need to go through that to see who your true friends are.
Did you see that? How I did the stages?
Yes. Right? Yes, 100%. 100%, man. It's like the evolution of who you are came through these facets.
Trials and tribulations and successes.
Phases, if you will.
Right.
Phases. It's like you're not even the finished fucking product. Who's the finished product? What is the if you had to go into your mind right now, do me a favor. You had to go in your mind right now and look at the finished product of who Tony is when he's sitting in his fucking deathbed, let's say 96, 97, say 110 years old, because you just deserve to live long, motherfucker. Right? What do we got? What's the legacy you left?
The legacy is that both my newborn and my 7-year-old have want for nothing, that they have assets, that they have companies that they can manage, that my wife is basically just wantless, and that my friends are the friends that are this small, right? But more importantly, the philanthropy. Because we talk about money so much, but where I'm at right now is that anybody I do business with, I'm like, where's your fucking mind on philanthropy?
Yeah.
So I want my legacy to be my philanthropy. Tony gave East LA, where he came up from, an access to financial literacy. Yeah. Tony went ahead and came back with golf education junior programs for the kids that there is no golf programs. Tony came back to Garfield High School, Roosevelt High School, where Oscar de la Hoya was growing up at, and he fought. That is what I want to build. That person right there is what I'm more passionate about. Money's great, but no, the philanthropy. Why is Achilles so famous? It's not because he killed so many people. It's because of his class, his character, his ability to fight against Agamemnon, his defiance. Yeah. So my defiance is, fuck this making money style just for it is and being selfish. I want to be grounded in philanthropy and be a beacon, like Tupac said. I may not be that person that changed the world, but I will be that spark.
I love that, man. That's deep, dude. That is fucking deep, and that's real. No, it's real, and I felt that. And if you guys didn't feel that through fucking camera, like, I don't know, you're smoking crack or something, dude. I felt that, man, and I really did, because I see how much you really want to. I don't know. Maybe I'm a selfish asshole. Okay, we can kind of let the laws. Maybe I'm a selfish asshole because I'm totally with like Elon on this one, dude. Where it's like humanity's fucked.
It is.
Which is like, dude, I love the philanthropy aspect. I'm with Elon. We're like, dude, I just want to get to Mars because, like, and I could be a capitalist asshole. Like I always say to people, I'm not an asshole. I'm just a capitalist.
Yeah.
I could just be the capitalist that wants to go to Mars to collateralize the fucking Martian soil and monetize the elements. But
and there's nothing wrong with that at all. And he is a philanthropist. In some way, and he's given us so much.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
Let's look at basic. What did he do for Twitter?
He legitimized Twitter because Twitter was like, what the fuck is this thing? Twitter was in limbo. I don't know if you remember, but Twitter was in limbo for the longest time. It's like, what is this thing?
What did he do for Twitter? He allowed free speech again.
Yeah.
He brought Alex Jones back. It doesn't matter what controversial person you are, he gave you your platform back. So that's philanthropy in one way.
You know what? That's true. That's very true.
What did he do?
That's very true.
When he sent his car into fucking space? He inspired us to believe that we can go farther.
Dude, okay.
That's philanthropy.
Let me geek out. Let me geek out on space real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we have for this podcast.
No, you're good.
What do you think of this whole space race to Mars right now? Because it particularly excites me very much because that's what we're selling.
When I
to
think about
rediversify.
There's video games such as StarCraft that showed you potential, what our potential can be, and that's go to other planets, mine the minerals. What was Avatar about? What was Avatar about?
Yes, it's like subliminal messaging. That's been preparing.
It's not subliminal for me and you.
You're right. Correct.
It's to the masses. Like what was fucking Iron Man about? Palladium.
Or
Palladium.
that motherfucker. What's his name? The Infinity Stones. What's his name?
Thor. The fucking Thanos.
Thanos. What do you think the Infinity Stones were?
Yeah.
They were extraterrestrial elements, palladium, plutonium, shit you can't even pronounce on this fucking planet.
Right?
You know?
Nuts, huh?
Yeah.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I think we've given them all we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. Let's shut it down, man.
I think we've given them all that they deserve at this moment.
Yeah.
What I like to do on these conversations is two things. We've pretty much conquered 18 holes because I'm a golfer, right? Right? Do you play golf at all?
You know, I'm a lousy golfer, but I'll just go because honestly, that's the best place to meet people and do deals is on the golf course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. So with that being said, we've conquered our 18 holes, and I always like to end up all of these where this is between the tees.
Yeah.
Alexander Suave, you are on in between the tees, and we appreciate you.
Yeah.
This is the front nine, so to speak. We'll go ahead and be on another one where we can play some golf, brother.
Let's do it, my man.
Yeah? Appreciate your time.
Yeah, absolutely, my brother.
Sir.
Thank you.
Smoke this cigar.
Let's go.
Let's get out of here.
That was sick, dude. Good episode. Good episode.